Hey guys, this is Animedesu and this recap of I Parry Everything Season 1. Nor was a young man living in a fantasy world who was pretty strong for his age and very well liked by everyone in the town. He worked a job requiring manual labor, but even his boss was impressed by his work and never said a word against him, as he was the best worker he had ever seen. One day, after taking his daily wage, he was about to head back when he suddenly heard the voice of a woman screaming for help coming from a nearby cave. He immediately rushed over, even after his boss told him not to as it could be dangerous. He ignored everyone's warnings and entered the cave, only to see a girl wrapped in magical barbed wire while an adventurous party faced off against a giant demonic bull. Ever since he was a child, Nor always had to take care of his mother and the household, because his father never came back. But he took it like a champ and started taking care of the house. His mom was sickly and mostly bedridden, so he made hot soup for her to drink while covered in soot and told her that he was going out to hunt some rabbits so she could have some protein for dinner. His mother cleaned his face while apologizing for not being able to give him anything in life, but Nor put on a brave face and told her he didn't need anything anyway. Later that night, he prepared a hearty rabbit stew for his mom, but when he came back to feed her, she had already passed away. Now, poor Nor had no one to call family in this world. He buried his mother outside the house but decided that he couldn't be weak and cry. He started living alone, tending to the garden, catching game, taking care of the farm animals, and studying inside his room after thoroughly cleaning it. He trained his body by catching wild fish, carrying heavy loads on the mountains, and eating lots of protein every day. One night, due to loneliness, he climbed on top of a chair and took out an old dusty storybook and started reading it. This took him way back as he remembered the time when his family was whole and his father would tell him tales about mighty adventurers who fought colossal dragons, learned magic from wizards, lifted curses in the haunted forest, and fought against an army of elves. These stories always fascinated him as his father would tell him that the duty of an adventurer is to protect the weak people and make sure they are never hurt. This gave him inspiration to do something with his life, and the next day, after tending to the animals, he got ready to leave his home and move towards the city to try and be an adventurer. He stayed in the forest at night with a campfire, and by the next morning he arrived at the beautiful city of his kingdom. He entered the giant main gate and was completely blown away to see the number of people roaming around the markets, selling their goods and people buying swords and fruits at the same place. While walking, he noticed a man with a sword and decided to follow him, which led him to the Adventurers Guild. He entered the establishment to find a big burly man at the reception instead of a thick furry girl. Disappointed, he told the man that he was here to be an adventurer, but the man brushed him off, saying that this was no place for kids and that he should think about his parents. Nor replied that his parents were dead, which caught the man's attention, and he told him to drop by the training school first. Nor seemed confused, but the man told him that to join a guild he needed to pick a school, go through basic training, pick his class and skills, and only after graduating could he become an adventurer. Nor was happy for the information and excitedly headed over to a school with the aim to become the strongest swordsman. He enrolled and started training in the way of the sword, but even after several weeks, while every other student started awakening their magical potential, Nor still had no magical abilities. He kept practicing, and several months passed by, after which the instructor told him that he didn't have the talent and was wasting his time there. He was told to join a different school as he was definitely not fit to be a swordsman. Nor didn't give up and found another school, deciding to train as a warrior. He started training under a big fat redhead, but even after going through intense training for several months, the redhead told him that he didn't have the talent for it, as all he had learned was how to parry attacks. He then went through several different schools first as a hunter, but he got kicked out. Then he tried to become a thief but got rejected as he had no talent for it. He then tried to become a magician but failed even in that. So finally he decided to become a healer but failed and returned back disappointed. The man at the guild was shocked to learn that even after spending months at every school, Nor didn't learn a single thing and told him that, unfortunately, there was nothing he could do to become an adventurer.
たった一振りで山のように大きな竜。やったー。ウォリアー、冒険者っぽいぞ。
能力をわずかに上げることだけだ。すぐに命を落とすことになる。
ハンター。
天才の道具を扱うセンスが。
宝箱の罠も解除でき。
やってもプチファイヤー一つとは。
クレリック。
擦り傷を癒す程度とは。
Disappointed in himself, Nor left the city and returned back to his cottage in the woods. But he decided that he was not going to admit defeat and created his own training setup with a sword. He decided to perfect the one move that he learned, which was to parry and deflect attacks aimed at him. He spent days perfecting it, day and night, and finally, after a year of rigorous training, he became strong enough to parry 10 attacks at once. He decided to keep training, and 3 years passed by, after which he managed to parry 100 swords at once but gained no new skills. He kept training endlessly to the point where his sword broke, 14 years passed by as he realized that in these past years, he had trained every single day and was now able to parry 1,000 swords at once without fail. Despite putting in this much hard work, he didn't gain any new skills but still decided to head over to the Adventurers Guild once more. This time he met a young girl who looked at his skill set only to advise him to visit the training school. Noor told her that he had already been through them, which surprised the girl as she told him that he didn't have any skills to make him an adventurer. Noor got disheartened once again when the man at the reception came out and barely recognized him. They sat down to talk over some beer when Noor told him about his training for the past years. The man told him that there are ranks in an adventurer from E to S, but even to become E rank, you need at least one skill, which Noor didn't have. Noor got sad, but the man told him that not many people knew, but there was another rank below E, which was F. There are some limitations for F-rank adventurers as they can't take kill quests or work in the forests. Outside the city, they can only take odd manual labor jobs in the city, but no one would really want to do that. To his surprise, Noor immediately accepted and finally got his adventurer's license. He started doing odd jobs around the city like carrying heavy loads, finding lost cats, and kept training every single night. He also took nursing jobs and took care of old people by cooking for them. While doing all this, he kept training and seemed to be happy working as an adventurer who could actually help people. Finally, we come back to the present where the giant bull walked towards the adventurers and smashed the leader with his axe, sending him flying into the wall. Noor quickly checked him only to find out that he was dead. He looked back to see the other guys getting skewered by the bull, as it killed every single person in the area effortlessly before moving its eyes onto the white-haired girl. Noor's body immediately jumped into action as he threw a rock at the bull and diverted its attention before running away. The monster chased him with surprising quickness, and Noor realized that he couldn't run away, so he turned around and parried the bull's attack. To his surprise, the parry was so strong that the bull got blasted into the wall. It immediately recovered and jumped through the dust to attack Noor, but he was able to parry the attacks again and again as he realized that if he missed a single parry, he was as good as dead. He tried to find an opening but realized that he didn't have a single offensive skill to actually land an attack. His sword started chipping, but the demon turned towards the girl and rushed towards her. Noor immediately used his feather step ability, which increased his speed, to appear before the bull and deflect the attack once again at the cost of his own sword. He remembered his father telling him that an adventurer defends the weak even at the cost of his own life, so he stood his ground even with a broken sword. This time, when the monster attacked, Noor parried with all his might, which deflected the axe so much that it bounced back and chopped the head of the bull cleanly before getting stuck in the rocks. The girl was utterly shocked as blood splattered all around the area, but the magical barbed wire disappeared from her body. The girl immediately thanked him for saving her life and asked for his name, but Noor replied that his name wasn't worth remembering and walked back outside. He walked through the streets thinking about how he almost got killed by a giant cow and realized that he needed to train even more if he wanted to truly become an adventurer who could protect people. This is the end of I Parry Everything Episode 1. Thank you so much for staying on this channel and watching our videos. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel so we can keep you updated with our latest content. See you in the next video.